It's Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. I'm Ashley Pollard here for this year's final edition of Tuesday Talk, where we review common real estate and mortgage related terms. Today, I'm coming to you with some 2021 tips. I've got 10 homeowner do's and don'ts, and these are just some things that homeowners often don't think about until they happen, and when they happen, it's often too late and costing you a lot of money. So first, I have some don'ts. Don't call a repair person with the wrong specialty, and don't blindly hire your contractor. This can end up costing you a lot more money in the end than you were planning to spend. One real life example, I know someone who went with a cheaper contractor who was charging them $40,000 for a total renovation. They did such a horrible job, they had to have another contractor come in and redo the entire thing. So they spent more than twice what they were planning to spend because they wanted to go with a cheaper price tag. The third don't ignore routine maintenance. Things like materials, fixtures, finishes, your landscaping, all that stuff is going to require routine maintenance and upkeep. And if you don't upkeep these things, then that could cost you money later down the line as well. Another real life example, I know someone who bought a house and there's a tree that actually took over some of the pipes, and they have roots now growing in the water pipes. So because that tree was left to just do its own thing, they actually have to seek help from the city to get that tree cut down because now they're having plumbing issues from the tree's roots. Now, that's not something that, you would really think about, but you want to monitor your landscaping, monitor how the trees and bushes are growing around your property because those roots have to go somewhere. And odds are that they're going to encroach on some of the important systems that keep your house going. Fourth, don't make home improvements too soon. It is very exciting to move into a house and want to do everything at once. But usually what you want for your home is going to change the longer you're in the home. So start with the items that you have and then add on to them, work around them. And then once you really have an idea of how you want to lay out your space, then you can start to add more projects onto that and do more drastic changes. Now, on that note of doing drastic changes, do one project at a time. Again, you're going to want to put on HGTV and do your DIY thing, or maybe call someone to do a revamp for you, but you're going to exhaust all your funds if you try to do everything at once, and that also could make your house unlivable and cause some tension in your family. So just make it make sense. Do the projects first that you can manage, and then start to add on to that. The next one is a do. Do budget for new expenses. With me as your realtor, I'm going to let you know things like HOA fees, taxes, all those things that you can expect. But I'm not going to know what it costs to keep that house running throughout the year, what the utility bills are. So a good idea is to ask the seller, before we even go to closing, ask the seller what the last year of bills look like. Because in New Jersey, we have all 4 seasons. So you'll know in the wintertime what you can expect to pay for your heating costs, or in the summertime what you can expect to pay for your cooling costs. So ask your seller for some of those bills, or maybe a record of what they've been paying, and then that'll help you, before you even get to the home, understand what you should expect to pay throughout the year. All right, so next one, do start an emergency house fund. Again, a lot of people exhaust their funds with their down payment and closing costs. That could be a lot of money. That could be tens of thousands of dollars, or even over $100,000, depending on your down payment and the cost of your home. So start to put money aside for an emergency fund, because when things break in the house, you don't call your landlord. You have to actually call a professional to come out and fix them. Otherwise, you're going to run into serious issues. So the longer you live in the home, the more likely you are to experience things that break or need to be replaced. So put money aside so that you don't have to break the bank when those times do come. Do make friends with your neighbors. We're on number 8 now. You want to make sure that you don't have neighbors from hell. Neighbors can make your living experience very unpleasant. So introduce yourself when you first move in. This could be helpful later down the line because you can maybe share tools. When something goes wrong, you can reach out to your neighbor who might be able to help you. I have a client who actually made friends with a neighbor across the street, and they help each other work on projects because they're both into carpentry. So it worked out. If there's issues, maybe noise complaints or issues with property lines, if you're friends with your neighbors, it's not going to be such a headache to get those issues resolved, because you can then have just a conversation because you actually know that person. The ninth do learn how to winterize your home. This is very important. Know how to turn off the water valve. Know how to turn off the power and gas lines. These are going to be huge things that save yourself time and money during an emergency. Let's say there's a basement flood or a power outage. You don't want to figure out where these things are the first time something goes wrong, because that's likely too late. Also, when you go away on vacation, consider turning your water off. That way there's no issues, while you're gone, and that will prevent flooding if there is an issue. And your last do invest in new tools. You might have a little small toolkit that you've used in the past, but as a homeowner, even if you're not planning to do a lot of DIY projects, you're going to need things like a hammer. A stud finder is a good tool. That way you can hang pictures and different art around your home and not have to worry about it falling through the sheetrock. You don't want to put your TV up on the wall and find out that you didn't find the studs, and now your 80-pound TV is going to fall on the floor. You want to get a ladder, get an electric drill. A screwdriver is not going to be enough. Get a solid drill. Measuring tape so that you can measure things. These are all important things you should definitely keep in your home. Again, for anything you want to do DIY, or anytime an emergency arises and you can't get a professional out immediately. So these are some do's and don'ts for home ownership. If you got any questions about them, please feel free to reach out. But I thought these would be helpful as we end the year. Give some advice to those not in the market currently, but who have already bought their home and are experiencing their home for the first time and going through some of these things. I appreciate you tuning in for another year of Tuesday Talk. We're coming back in 22 strong with more content, different topics. We're not just going over real estate terms anymore. We're actually going to go over real estate topics. So I'm excited to roll out some of the new things that I am working on, and I will see you in the new year. Enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your week, and Happy New Year to everybody. I'll see you next Tuesday.